93.3 FM, WBAP. Welcome back to the big show. How you doing out there?
Anglos.
Yes, Anglos too.
Anglo.
I know, hush, lady. I just want to say, since it is Friday, and last Friday was the first, and I think a lot of people were in the situation where you broke.
It's Friday.
I am, dude. I'm hurting, bro. I'm hurting. I've got a whole another week until I get another check. I am skating on red, and that's okay. I'm just going to ignore it. That's what overdraft fees are for. We'll be fine. We're still going to have a good weekend. But they're not doing much better in the Texas State House. Look at that transition. You like that, Garrett? Was that a good one? Today was the deadline for the fleeing Democrats to return so they could vote on redistricting. Guess what? Just like everybody predicted, they didn't return. And if you don't get to watch this stuff, I had to watch this on your behalf. This is how much I do for you as a host over here. You owe me for sitting through this boring stuff. So here's what happens. They have to establish a quorum first before they can do any business. So everyone has to sit at their little seat, and they have to hit the little button on the panel in front of them. And while they're doing it, there's this annoying Tinkerbell that keeps going off that just bugs the snot out of me. And I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why it rubs me the wrong way. It's just, okay, it's really high pitched, like really tinny. It's kind of annoying. And it's kind of, I don't know, like almost whimsical or effeminate. Like, this isn't a Disney movie. This is the state of Texas doing business. You know, if we're trying to ring people up and get them to all establish a quorum, we should have a different sound effect than a Tinkerbell. It's a Tinkerbell. Isn't it cute? Can we all make a quorum now? Don't you hear the Tinkerbell? Time to get to business. That's not what that means to me. It's bizarre. We should have like maybe a chuck wagon triangle at the most, but I would like a big fat gong, or like maybe there should be like the sizzle of a steak being put on the grill. You know what? That's the sound effect we use to call a quorum. But listen to this. Isn't this almost embarrassing? You're going to gavel it in, time to call a quorum, and then the Tinkerbell.
The House will come to order. Members, certain portion is requested by Representatives Moody, Raymond, Munoz, Barry Gonzalez, Roberto Cortez, Martinez, and Morales. You must register from your desk. You may not register for any member or any vote.
All right, so they're asking people to register. By the way, the acoustics are horrible in the Texas House of Representatives. Just got flat walls, marble everywhere. It's terrible. Will you stop ringing the bell? They do this for like 45 seconds, 30 seconds or something like that. And then when they don't have a quorum, we're going to have to move on. Stop hitting the bell. We know. Okay. We know they're not going to be here. They have to go through all this. Oh my God, will you stop with the bell?
There being 95 members present, a quorum is not present.
Okay, so the quorum was not present. That's what happened at about 1 o'clock this afternoon, an hour before the James Show started. We rolled on it live. So then they came in. The chaplain did a prayer. They did a pledge of allegiance to the American flag and to the Texas flag. And then Speaker of the House, Dustin Burrows, was giving out the news. Well, there's no quorum, so there's no business to be done. Here's what we're going to do about it. And again, I'm sorry the acoustics are terrible. They didn't have like an inboard audio input, so this is just the local CBS affiliate, KEYE, rolling audio in the room. So I'll explain the punishments. Listen to it at first. All of this is just kind of financial knick-knacky stuff. No one's going to go to jail. No one's going to lose their seat, but you could be fined. You could have some of your funding withheld. There's the good part about they can't withhold their paycheck, I guess, by the Constitution. So I don't know if you can hear it in here. He's going to explain that, well, we're just not going to direct deposit it. We'll issue a physical check, and if you want it, you can come pick it up. Well, they're not going to if they want to avoid consequences. So aside from some relatively minor financial costs, there's no real punishment coming with this.
As far as new administrative policies in our chamber go, Comptroller Kelly Hancock and I have enacted a new policy stating that any member absent for the purpose of breaking quorum will no longer have their paycheck or per diem deposited electronically. while the Constitution forbids us from withholding pay, it does not dictate how we issue the pay. Those checks must now be picked up in person on Capitol grounds, effective immediately.
Can y'all understand this okay? Garrett, are you understanding what he's saying okay? No? Okay. Well, I do, but I got to watch it with the video. That's where he was explaining they're going to withhold the direct deposit, but you can still pick up your check, paper check. You just got to show it personally. He's going to go on to say like 30% of your expense budget, because they get a per diem and they get a budget to hire staffers and get an office and, you know, do other what's considered to be perfunctory duties there. But it's I guess it's a chunk of money, I suppose. But if it's just money and it's not really punishment, some rich guy like a Beto O'Rourke can swoop in and make up the money lost, and there's no real damage going forward to the people who are avoiding doing their jobs because they don't like the new map, because they don't like the bill. He's also going to take away their newsletter. Ooh, super punishment there. How will an incumbent representative recover? So there are punishments, but not really punishments. He didn't say we're going to send anyone to jail. He didn't say we're going to strip anyone of their seats. He didn't say we're going to declare their seats vacant, which would change the number of people they would need for a quorum and then go ahead and get back to business and pass the map today. Nope. We're just going to do some like little minor financial paper cuts, and we'll reconvene on Monday. Well, what's going to be different on Monday? Burrows coming back with a little more in-depth, high-level discussion of this. SMU professor Matthew Wilson will explain what's going to happen next at the Texas House. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show. Happy Friday. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Big story of the day. Right before the James Show started, the Texas House had their deadline. They tried to reach a quorum today. They rang that annoying bell a few times. It did not happen. Some new punishments were announced. Doesn't sound like very punishy to me, but to give you a better breakdown than silly words like punishy, Dr. Matthew Wilson's coming back on. He's an SMU political science professor. And Dr. Matthew Wilson, first off, your reaction to what happened today, I think this is kind of what most people expected.
Yeah, I think it's not at all a surprise that they didn't reach a quorum. I mean, it would have been pretty sad from the Democrat standpoint if they had folded this quickly and showed up and allowed a quorum. So I think this played out pretty much as everybody anticipated that it would.
Well, the reason to bring them back would be the punishment could be an incentive. Did they know in advance that the punishment was going to be so lame?
Well, the Republicans are limited in what they can do from a punishment standpoint. I mean, already by statute, there are these fines that accrue, these $500 a day fines for being absent. The things they announced today, I think the most interesting one is to say that they're suspending direct deposit of legislators' paychecks so that if they want to actually get paid, they have to show up in person and collect a physical check, which, of course, if they show up in person in the state of Texas, they are subject to arrest. So, it ratchets up the financial pressure a little bit. And then they put pressure on the staff as well, saying that they're going to immediately cut staff funding for those legislators who are absent, which could start to hurt some of the people that work for the legislators. And they may well care about that. So, there are a limited number of tools that Republicans can use, but they're trying to bring as many of them to bear as they can.
How do they keep someone like a Beto from swooping in and saving them money with some financial support?
Well, the biggest way to do that is with bribery charges. And there's already been some talk about that and some threatening of that, saying that, in essence, if Beto O'Rourke or anybody else just gives money to the absent Democrats as a reward, in essence, for their political behavior, that is, in fact, pretty close to the definition of bribery. So it's possible that there could be criminal charges filed if, in fact, wealthy Democrats, whether it's Beto O'Rourke or somebody else, transfer funds to the absent Democrats.
All right, Dr. Matthew Wilson, go ahead and take some crazy pills with me. I think that would help Beto. I think he would be a martyr if he got handcuffs put on for facilitating the stopping of the redistricting.
Yeah, he would probably like that visual. It would probably help him in a Democratic primary for Senate next year against Colin Allred and whoever else may run. So, yeah, Beto would probably welcome that. Now, whether the individual Democratic state legislators would be as keen on that is another question. But yeah, I don't think Beto is going to be intimidated by that.
I think it might even help him. We're talking with Dr. Matthew Wilson, SMU political science. So what happens next?
Well, right now, we'll see if any of these Democrats get apprehended. There's talk, although so far it's only talk, of the FBI getting involved and federal law enforcement trying to track these people down. The governor has asked an Illinois court to make the apprehension arrest warrants enforceable in Illinois. I suspect that will go nowhere.
Right.
So I think we're going to stay in a standoff for a little while. And then the big thing to watch next is whether we start to get a cascade of redistricting efforts in other states, California, New York, et cetera, because both Democratic and Republican states around the country are talking about getting in on this redistricting frenzy. And we'll see how that plays out.
Well, I want to tamper some people's enthusiasm because people write me emails and messages on Facebook saying they should grab them and throw them into alligator Alcatraz. And while that would be my preference as well, that's not going to happen. These people have run before at least a couple times since I've been doing talk radio, and they don't go to jail for this. Nothing really happens to them. They'll get some sort of financial paper cut, but don't get your hopes up.
That's probably correct. I will say this time that the governor has come out guns blazing from the get-go, talking about declaring these seats vacant and asking the Texas Supreme Court to agree with that declaration and therefore allow him to call new elections. These people could lose their seats if that happens. Now, they will in all likelihood be replaced by other Democrats, but they themselves could lose their legislative seats, and that's a significant penalty, significant sacrifice to make. But that's a bit of a legal long shot, and it will require the Texas Supreme Court to cooperate. So, I mean, definitely Republicans are trying to be more forceful in dealing with this than they have in the past, but the number of tools at their disposal is somewhat limited.
What happens if they stay away for an indefinite amount of time?
Well, the governor can keep calling special session after special session. The problem is, though, that there's some time sensitivity here. In order to get the primaries lined up for Congress next year, in order to get the ballots printed for the primary elections, any redistricting really needs to be wrapped up by November, early December at the latest. So Democrats, if they can wait that long, stay away from home for some months, then conceivably they could run out the clock here. But I think in the interim, we'll just keep seeing special session after special session called, and it'll be a game of chicken. Which side will back down first?
Dr. Matthew Wilson, this can't be the best way to run government.
No, it's really not. And in fact, I think one thing that may come out of this is we may see an effort in the Texas legislature to amend the state constitution to lower the threshold for a quorum. In most states, half of the legislators constitute a quorum. Texas is unusual in that we require 2/3.
Oh.
And I think that Republicans might decide, you know what, we're tired of this. We're tired of government by flight, and we're going to put a constitutional amendment forward to become like most states and say, if you've got half the legislature there, you can do this.
Yeah, I guess we don't see a whole lot of other states doing this. Didn't Minnesota have some people who ran to Wisconsin or something a few years ago? But
that's right. And it happens in those few states like Texas that require more than half to constitute a quorum, require something like 2/3. And that's why I'm saying I think that going forward, there may be a look at trying to change that.
So let me zoom out and ask a broader question here. Why haven't we always done redistricting whenever we want? Why have we only done it at the end of the decade when we take the census? If it's that easy to do, no one thought of this before?
Well, it's like a lot of things in American politics. There are kind of gentlemen's agreements that existed where Democrats and Republicans, sort of tacitly agreed, all right, we're not going to do this to you if you don't do it to us. But those kinds of gentlemen's agreements are breaking down in a whole host of areas, right? Our politics is more partisan, more bitterly divided than it has been in the past. And Democrats and Republicans are both looking for any tool that they can use to try to press their advantage. And that's why we're seeing this start to happen.
I like your thoughts that there will be a cascade of states that follow suit if this goes through. I think we may be looking at a new norm going forward.
We could. And in fact, this is why there's actually been legislation introduced in the House in Washington to actually prohibit mid-decade redistricting. And it was actually introduced by a Republican. Essentially, he's looking ahead at that scenario and saying, that's not where we want to go, where people are constantly doing redistricting. A Democratic legislature here, a Republican legislature there. And it would be interesting to see if that gets any traction on Capitol Hill.
Well, thanks for all the insights. You made my show a little smarter today. This is Dr. Matthew Wilson, SMU Political Science. Coming up next, though, I want to ask you if you feel like I do, because in my view, as far as these punishments go, either vacate their seats, arrest them, or shut up. 800-288-9227. This is The James Show on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show. Happy Friday. It's News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. I am your host, James Parker, and there was no quorum in the Texas House. There was no joy in Mudville as the fleeing Democrats fled away. And so we got to hear the Tinkerbell for about a minute while the people were registering at 1 o'clock this afternoon in Austin at the Texas House of Representatives. It was disappointing. No quorum to be had. They adjourned business until Monday, but announced a bunch of punishments that don't sound very punishy. Oh, you're going to lose some of your operating budget. Oh, you're going to lose your newsletter. I mean, they're not going to lose their seats. They're not going to go to jail. They're not even going to lose their parking space, as a friend of the show, Brian Harrison, pointed out this week. That if they're not going to take it serious, there's no reason for them to come back. There's no reason for them to not do this in the future. So what do you think? Is this redistricting thing? Is this working out? Are we even going to get the new maps? Are we going to set up a national trend of all these other states taking our lead? Here was Brian Harrison 2 days ago.
Not one Democrat has been stripped of their seniority, their committee assignments, their budgets, their staff. Hell, we haven't even taken away their parking spots yet. So no, I continue to call on the leadership, the Republican leadership in the state of Texas, to do what the voters of Texas want. In addition to the redistricting, they want more than just bold rhetoric. They want bold action.
Okay, so that was 2 days ago. In that list, part of their budgets have been taken away, for their own staff. So that's one small paper cut of a punishment. That's not going to do much, is it? 800-288-9227. This is Steve in Weatherford. You're on WBAP.
Hey, James. Two ideas. First, somebody needs to draft a bill that says if you bug out like this in the future, it's a $10,000 a day fine. Number two, give Jasmine Crockett some time on the radio every day until the elections in November 26th, and the Republicans will win by a landslide.
Okay, so the $10,000 a day fine. I have sort of this principle that a fine as a punishment isn't really a just punishment, because that means it's legal for a price. And so if you have people who are from money and they marry into a family that has even more money, like a Beto O'Rourke, a fine means nothing to these people. It's like when they used to fine Mark Cuban by the NBA for yelling at the refs. They're like, oh, they just fined him $50,000. It's like, bro, he loses $50,000 in the cushions of his couch. And so I like the idea of punishing them. My problem is if it's just going to be financial punishment, that's not a real punishment. That's something that someone else is going to make up by some other donation from somewhere else, from some other source. Real punishment is putting people in jail. Real punishment is vacating their seat. That you lose your office. Then all this work that you did to go win this election and get all these donors, and you're going to lose it all if you do this. I think that's where the real punishment is.
Well, you'd have to fight the U.S. Constitution about that. But if you say, look, it's $10,000 a day, it comes out of your personal pocket, unless you're in ICU at the hospital, that'll kill a lot of minds. Take off for 14 days and owe the state of Texas $100,000. A lot of these representatives don't have that to throw away like that. This will get their attention.
It'll get some attention. You don't want to throw them out of office, though, Steve? You don't like that?
Well, I would if you could, but now there's all kinds of constitutional issues.
Pass the constitutional amendment, because it's a state of Texas constitution. This wouldn't be any problem with the U.S. Constitution.
Well, I agree, but they need to get busy drafting some bills so that this never, ever happens again.
Yeah, I don't see any bills being drafted, so Steve, this probably won't be the last time it happens. Great call, though. So Steve in Weatherford says fine them $10,000 a day for fleeing. And the second part of that I thought was not bad, too. He wants Jasmine on TV every day, so that'll assure the next victory. I don't think they understand how effective this is, the whole Jasmine Crockett thing. But you're right. This is going to work out in our favor if she keeps getting the attention she's getting.
Anglo.
All right, back to the phones. John, Midlothian, you're on WBAP.
Yes, my suggestion is that hold them personally liable for the expense incurred for holding a Senate session where they cannot do business.
So what does that look like?
Add up the total amount spent where everybody else's time, divide it by the number of people that are absent, send them a bill.
Okay, so they got to kind of pay their own court costs is what that sounds like?
That's it.
Okay, so we still run into the same problem. If it's only a financial punishment, that's only punishment for people who can't afford it. If you're rich, then that means nothing to you. If you have rich people backing, if you're Beto, just imagine you're Beto O'Rourke. You're a rich kid who married an even richer family. He'll never have to work again. He has millions at his disposal. How does that disincentivize him?
Well, you got to just add up all the different charges and death by 1,000 needles.
Well, I have the same response. Why not just make them lose their seat? Why not kick them out of office? That's not something money would solve.
That's the best idea yet.
Okay. All right, so I'm not crazy. Thank you very much, John in Midlothian. So, look, everyone agrees they should be punished. We just disagree on what would be most effective. I'm telling you, these financial punishments are not real punishments. That's like when you do something wrong in the house to break ethics, and they're like, you're going to be censured. It's like, what does that mean? It's like, well, we're going to pass a resolution saying you're bad. Like, really? That's not a punishment at all. It sounds like you're getting away with it. Oh, no. Don't fine me. Not $10,000. Oh, no. I'll never be able to afford that. Really changed my mind. 800-288-9227. I mean, look, I shouldn't talk like that. I don't have the answer to this. I think it'd be nice to kick him out of office, but I don't know. You think if that worked, they'd already be doing it. Coming up next on the James Show, we'll continue with what would your punishment be for the people fleeing. But after that, we've got to talk about this WNBA toy problem. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Well, hey there. Welcome back to the James Show. Happy Friday. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. At 1 o'clock today, the gavel swung in Austin at the Texas State House of Representatives. There was not enough to have a quorum present, so some new punishments were announced, and they seem kind of trifling to me. Not very impressed. My guest yesterday from the Dallas Express, Chris Putnam, said he's 100% sure these new redistricting maps are going to pass on a long enough time scale. We just have to go through enough theater and a couple more circus acts, but it will happen. On the other hand, what's their incentive to ever come back if there's never a real punishment? So I'm not as sure that we're going to get the maps. And I'm not even sure if this is a good thing, if this is going to spark off some national cascade of redistricting. In the meantime, what do we do about these guys? I say you at least have to kick them out of office, if not jail them. But I'm not very optimistic that's going to happen. We've seen this happen in Texas a few years ago and 20 years ago. They didn't go to jail then, so I don't really expect them to go to jail now. So maybe I need your help. What do we do about these people? 800-288-9227. This is Randy in Frisco on WBAP. Hey, Randy.
Hey, so back in 2003, whenever they decided to take a trip over to Ardmore, Oklahoma, before there was even casinos in Oklahoma, there was nothing done about it. And there will not be anything done about it. So my whole thing was this could have been on the ballot for the past 22 years in regards to a constitutional amendment to the state of Texas. They failed. If you have a rhino running the House, which we know we do,
we do.
Like, I need to put them on all these freaking committees. They need to be on these committees. So now they escalated it to, instead of just going to Oklahoma, now they're making it a nationwide situation. So it's been escalated. So here's my solution. What we do is we have emergency special elections, starting with the closest margin of Republicans that barely beat Democrats, and we just put them on the ballots. We just make them have a special election, because obviously they're not going to vote for what we want anyway. So then either they're going to do what we want or they're going to get replaced. But we can do that. We can literally have special elections for people that are not holding other people accountable. Like, get them out.
We don't really have to do anything special. Next year is going to be a bunch of primary votes, and those are going to be the only elections that really count. Once it's past the primary, every Republican's going to beat you over the head. Well, you have to vote for him. You don't want the Democrat to win. So the point to really make sure that not just Republicans in name only, but actual ideologically honest Republicans is the primary system. And if you don't get it done then you got no one else to blame but the voters of your district.
So I wonder how special it feels whenever you're the Speaker of the House of Texas, literally like, I need a quorum. I need everybody to be here. Kumbaya, hold hands, make sure that they have their stuff that's getting voted on, make sure they can do whatever they want, make sure they're in all these committees, and literally they're bending you over, bro. Literally right there. Literally right now they're bending you over. You're going to do nothing.
They are not bending him over. It's not a punishment if you like it. You know what I'm saying? You can't rape the willing. This is a guy who had everyone and a quorum on Monday, and he adjourned until Friday, giving them the chance to run instead of holding them to account while they're all there. He put a lifelong Democrat, in charge of the redistricting committee, and he's a rhino to begin with, totally questionable. And all I think we have to do is we got a lot of work to do in the primaries coming next year for these state reps. And I'm talking about the Republicans. I don't even care what the Democrats are doing. This is Coach in Dallas. You're on WBAP.
Thanks for taking my call. Just driving home after a 4-hour lecture at school, and it just aggravates me to listen to it all. I agree with you about kicking them out of office. I'd rather for them to be publicly flogged, but the problem is our side. Our side is so pathetic that we don't do anything, that people like this can just do whatever they want. The fellow just before just said so in 2003. There are no consequences for those guys doing anything. That's the problem. It's pathetic.
Well, stop sending these people back into office. And I don't mean you specifically, Coach, but these Every one of the incumbent Republicans that flipped and voted with the Democrats to put Speaker Burrow in the speakership, they're on what we call the Rhino list. Brian Harrison gave me the list. We got someone else to make a map, and so I will give you our Rhino list, the official James Show Rhino list. You find out if you're in one of those districts, and if your representative is one of those, and I don't mean you, Coach, I mean everyone listening. I mean, you go do the work in your district to make sure you find someone else to run in that primary seat, and you damn sure better make damn sure that they win. I just boo-booed that up. But you get what I'm saying.
I do. How about this? Let me add something to what you said earlier, which I agree with. Kick them out of office. Give them a financial penalty, which I understand how that works out. Bar them from ever running for office again and give them a jail term. That way they get rid of their honest graft, and you know what? They take their chances, and and they fail forever.
Love it, Coach. Thank you, sir. Let's go to Russ and Richardson. You're on WBAP.
Yeah, James, I agree with your thought, but I got a question. If they can't get the Democrats to come back for a quorum, how would they get them back for a constitutional amendment vote?
Yeah, if you kick them out of office, then you either replace them or your number that you need for a quorum is smaller, because it's a percentage. What was it, 60% that they need? And if those seats are vacant, they won't be counted toward the quorum. So if you kick them out of office, you can come up with the quorum without them and vote in all this stuff. So, the map, the constitutional amendment to kick them out of office, put them in jail, whatever the heck else.
I'm all for that.
Well, so we know the litmus test, if they're serious, if Burrows is serious and the Republican leadership, capital R Republican leadership is serious, the talk should be starting now about kicking these people out of office. That's who is taking this serious. Ken Paxton, actually, today, since this happened, already since 1 o'clock when this happened, he's filed a lawsuit at the Texas Supreme Court hoping to vacate the seats of the Texas Democrats who fled the state. See, he sounds legit. He sounds like he's on board. He's not on the Rhino list. What do we do about the redistricting Dodgers, about the stray dog Democrats? 800-288-9227. That's coming up on the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Well, hey there. Happy Friday, fellow Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. And one of the more annoying parts about this whole quorum situation is knowing that we have such a sissy-sounding bell in the State House of Representatives. Did you hear this? It gets gavelled in, and they get about, 45 seconds to a minute to all sit at their desk and hit the button to know if there's a quorum there. And in the meantime, they just ring this annoying bell over and over. And so this is 1 o'clock this afternoon. Hey, House is coming to order. Everyone come sit down at your seat. Kids, this is the junior high equivalent of roll call. And it's the bell that drives me nuts. Check this out. This thing. What is this? What is this? Okay, I got it. Okay, you don't have to do that again. Everyone heard. And we heard you on the microphone, but we heard the gavel. Can you stop with the bell? And so I'm not going to play it the whole time, but that keeps going on for another 30 seconds. Can't we do something more manly? Can't we do something like a gong? Wouldn't that be cool? Just. So that's the first thing I would fix. The next thing I would fix is actually punish these people for not doing their job. Wow, what a concept. You would get punished if you didn't do your job. I'd probably lose my job if I did a no call, no show. I don't know, maybe this is a call. If I no-showed for an entire week, I may not even have my job. How come they get to have theirs? That's a real punishment. Not, we're going to take away 30% of your operating budget. Or, you're going to be fined $500 a day. You're going to have to come pick up your check and a physical check in person. And that's not real punishment, sir. It's not a punishment at all if you have money. So no, either kick them out of office, arrest them, or shut up. 800-288-9227. I know that's kind of an oversimplification of it, but it really does seem that easy. Ken, Arlington, you're on WBAP.
I agree with everything that's been said, but I think what should happen is, and I don't know if it's like this locally as in state, but nationally, once you're voted out of office, you get a paycheck for the rest of your life. And I don't think that should happen. Oh,
my God. No, that shouldn't happen. Yeah. For some of them, you have to be in there for, I think it's 4 years in the House of Representatives, and then you get a pension for the rest of your life. What kind of garbage is that? Oh, no, you're absolutely right. I'm not sure what the retirement system is for the state of Texas. I don't think we have one, but I don't feel confident enough in that knowledge to feel confident enough in that knowledge.
If we do, get rid of it. I mean, I don't even believe the president should receive a check for the rest of his life. Look at Carter. I mean, he lived for another 50 years.
Well, and that's a relatively new thing. We did have previous presidents who died penniless.
Right.
And I think that was a glorious demonstration of how fair and good this country is.
Yeah, but I don't think locally, if they get voted out of office or kicked out of office, they should receive a check for the rest of their life.
I think everyone agrees with that one. Great call. That's Ken in Arlington, everybody. This is Mel Cedar Hill on a very loud phone. Go, Mel.
As a registered independent here, my question is, if the Republican caucus could actually win on their policies and their policies were actually winning platforms, why would they need to redistrict to rig those districts in their favor? And two, how does that lead to a kangaroo court where the Democrats will be tried in absentia? Actually, without a grand jury, that's in the Constitution. Anything criminal has to go through a grand jury. So you would have to call a grand jury by the Constitution to indict someone criminally. How does that work? Thank you.
Okay, well, a couple things. They're not redistricting because they're so damn unpopular, and this is what they have to do to win. They're actually redistricting because they became so popular with Latinos that the previous gerrymander wasn't cutting it, and they could do even better if they did it halfway through the decade. Now, I realize they're breaking sort of the gentleman's agreement and the protocol of not redistricting willy-nilly without a court order in the middle of a decade. And I got to admit, I don't like that. I don't like them breaking that rule, but it's not a law. It's not, they're not breaking any laws. It was just kind of a gentleman's agreement. So they're taking advantage of something that they could have been taking advantage, both sides could have been taking advantage of this entire time. So there's some legit criticism there, but it's not because they were so wildly unpopular they had to rejigger the map. It was because the Latino vote flipped, and that was the real impetus for this. The other part about the grand juries. Don't worry about the grand jury stuff. These people aren't going to be punished. They've done this before. They don't go to jail. They don't face charges. That's just bloviating, fiery talk. So the rhinos can head fake the people who aren't paying enough attention to know that they're fake Republicans.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Hey, two great questions. That's Mel and Cedar Hill. Appreciate you calling in, sir. Coming up next on the James Show. I got some great callers here, but listen, we're going to stop down for a segment to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Their preseason is here, and I know this isn't the sports station, but we're going to get you caught up on what the storylines are, so you can still talk about the Cowboys and know what your Cowboy fan friends are talking about without actually having to watch the games or keep up with it. So John Ingham, host of WBAP Saturday and Sunday morning show, is going to be on next. But we'll continue the conversation about redistricting. If you've got any other opinions on how we can fix this, we'll go right back to that after John Ingham. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM, WBAP. We're going to stop down from all the news talk here about what's going on in the Texas House, because it's what they're talking about on Fox News, MSNBC, all on social media. We're the talk of the town, but look, something else that's the talk of the town. Football's back. Thank God football's back. I've missed it so bad, like a little child. However, I don't get too excited about preseason. I don't watch preseason. I used to. I realized it's just false hope. And now I see preseason as nothing more than kissing your sister. So in order to fill in the gap of football information that I want, but I don't want to have to actually watch it, John Ingham, you can hear him on the weekends here on WBAP. He's the host of the morning show on weekends. John Ingham, how are the Cowboys looking in preseason so far? It's something, right? Okay, do we expect to be any good this year? All right, we're talking with John Ingham. He works with the Cowboys and also WBAP here on the weekends. Are we going to have Micah Parsons on the field? He's going to get traded? Well, John Ingham, so do you think he'll be on the field for the first game of the regular season? Who's our running back? I know, right? For people who aren't paying attention, that is such a loaded question because we have 4 of them, and I don't know any of their names. I don't know any of these guys, John. Right. Do we have an offensive line? I mean, we have one, but Zach Martin's gone. Yep. That's amazing. Great. All right, thanks for the update. This is John Ingham. You can hear him on the weekends here on WBAP. Good luck to the Cowboys, and we'll do a recap after the first preseason game. Thank you, sir. All right. Coming up next on the James Show, we got the final updates here. Just some new stuff popped up on the redistricting battle, and then we got to talk about the WNBA's toy problem. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey, homeowners, James Parker here for Blue Ribbon Roofing. Listen, your home is your most valuable asset. The last thing you need to do is let things slip through the cracks. And here's how you solve that for your roof. I can't do it for the rest of your house, but I can get you a free inspection. I know some people who will inspect it for nothing. Blue Ribbon Roofing. Go to blueribbondfw.com. Give them a call. Have them come out. They'll get on your roof. They'll look around. They'll take some pictures, and they'll let you know if your roof is fine. If it's not, it doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of time. You get some pictures. You get a folder full of information. They'll tell you about all your shingle options if you need help with that. But if there is something wrong with your roof, they'll catch it before it expands and turns into a much more expensive, bigger problem. They'll help you every step of the way, pick out the right shingles, the right color, the right features. They'll get you the free ridge vent ventilation upgrade if you mention the James Show, please. And if you do need a whole new roof, they can help you with that pesky insurance company. Because if you feel like you get shorted or you're worried about getting shorted or you haven't done this before, they've done it thousands of times, and they're pretty good at it. So go to blueribbondfw.com, check out some of the amazing 5-star reviews from Google, and then get your free roof inspection today, just like I did. Go to blueribbondfw.com. Well, hey there. Welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. I am your host, James Parker, with a few more thoughts here on the redistricting battle that has led to the Democrats fleeing the state. The stray dog Democrats, as Joe on X called them. I kind of like that. And then they attempted to reconvene the House at 1 o'clock here in Austin today. They didn't reach a quorum, so now they're announcing some punishments that all just sound like, I don't know, trifling little financial paper cuts, in my view. And without any real punishment, what's their incentive to come back? What's their incentive to not do this again in the future? Shouldn't we have done this the last couple of times they did it? And that's because we didn't. That's why we're here today. The answer to all this is yes. And so we have some incomplete business here. Fine. You're saying bad things about them. Fine. You're tweeting mean things about them. Are you going to do anything about it? Besides fine them or take away 30% of their operating budget? Ew, that's going to cost money. Well, that's nothing if you have financial backing. And these people have financial backing. That's the problem with anything being a fine. That means it's just legal for a price. You can't park here. Why not? You'll get a fine. All right. So what happens if I pay the fine? Well, then you can park here. Senator John Cornyn's on Twitter today, or at least his staff is. And he's pointing out how some of this stuff looks illegal. He tweeted a few hours ago, when Democrat state legislators abandon their posts, bring state business to a halt, violate the state constitution, and let Beto's PAC and other dark money sources pay for it, yes, we should have law enforcement resources investigate. Hope that clears this up. Why don't you just call for them to be arrested? Why you got to soft pedal it? There's another one here where he's going, here, for example, the interstate and foreign travel in aid of racketeering enterprise statute, known as the Travel Act, USC something or other, makes it illegal to cross state lines to carry out unlawful activities. Well, stop hitting at it and demand they be arrested. And are you just talking tough because you got to face re-election and you're widely known as one of the biggest rhinos in American politics? Then over here, the guy who's running against Attorney General of the great state of Texas, Ken Paxton, he just tweeted, when was this? 2:25 p.m. So after the James Show started, an hour or so after the quorum failed, he has filed a lawsuit with the Supreme Court of Texas in order to declare the runaway representatives, declaring their seats vacant. So that's actually some action. Some things are being done here. Now you're all caught up. Do you think they'll be really punished? Do you even think the people that are in positions of power want them to be punished? What would you do to keep this from happening again? 800-288-9227. Doug Quinlan, you're on WBAP.
Hey, James.
Hey, Doug.
Listen, I'm nobody. You know, I'm born a Republican in Texas, been one my whole life. I'm 62. I'm an RMP. That stands for Responsible Master Plumber. About, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago, we ran into a brick wall, and I almost lost my license and every other RMP in Texas, and all because of our current Speaker of the House, Justin Burrows.
Explain. I don't know this story.
Well, deep research went into this, and we come to find out, well, eventually a grassroots group came together called 77,000 Plumbers. And that's how many licensed plumbers at all stages there were in Texas. I think there's over 100,000 now. But about that grassroots operation in about 2 months had every plumbing supply house and every available plumber. 20,000 plumbers showed up in Austin and on the steps of the courthouse, the Capitol, and they were peeking out the window. They didn't know we were coming. And put a stop to Justin Burrows, who was heading this up. And what it was is the Real Estate Commission, the Texas Real Estate Commission, the Builders Association, all had donated money to his campaign to overtake our private entity that operates under Sunset, but the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners
okay, Doug,
is a private. Yeah,
I got 30 seconds left. How would you fix this?
Get rid of Justin Burrows. He can be bought. It's already been proven his
Okay.
whole career. He's been bought.
Agreed. Well, I've got the list, and he's top. I've got the. Do you have the Rhino list? Email me, and I'll send you the Rhino list. It's just a link to the map. I got the list from Brian Harrison. We got a map put together. I put the list next to the map, so you can find out if you live in one of the districts for one of the people that are voting for people like Justin Burrows or Justin Burrows himself. And let's take care of this in the primary. In the meantime, there's not a whole lot else just regular old Joe Public can do. 800-288-9227. Redistricting and the WNBA toy problem next on the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey, happy Friday. Welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. You do want to stick around for the rest of the show because I'm giving away Jason Aldean tickets on today's episode of Name That Artist. Jason Aldean tickets. Yeah, well, Jason blankety blank Aldean. So stick around for that. If that's not enough of an incentive for you to stick around, then, well, I guess maybe you're not a country fan. And I also feel like when we do this redistricting talk, if I just take one more call, we'll get the answer. Someone out there just has the mat. How do we fix this? Because I think the consensus that we've come to in the discussion that we've had thus far is that they, at a bare minimum, have to lose their seats. And if no one is talking about that, well, Ken Paxton at 2:30, so just about an hour ago, filed a letter with the Supreme Court of Texas asking for their seats to be vacated. All right, he's serious, but if nothing's going to happen there, if you're not pushing for them to lose their seat, I'm not taking you serious. And Dustin Burrows, the Speaker of the House, one of the biggest rhinos we have in the Lone Star State, he doesn't sound like that's what he's pushing for. So if you were skeptical of him, he is proving you right again. This is Monty and Denton. How would you fix this on WBAP?
Well, I mean, we got to put power where it's at. And at the end of the day, we know that if you follow the money, that's in business. That's how we find a solution. The issue I see is that if you look where all these Democrats are running to, they're running to failed states. When you make states accountable, if you're a failing state, take away their funding, take away what they need, make them lose delegates. Then they rebuild their state because they have more of a voice, because they have standing ground, because delegates do their job. And I'll keep it that simple, and that's my voice on the way out.
All right. Sounds good, Monty. Great call. I appreciate it. Everyone got to hear your thoughts. Let's try Jack in Dallas. You're on WBAP. How would you fix this?
I would get the president to get behind me, and those seats that he's talking about opening up, I would guarantee 4 of those seats going to be replaced. I would get Crockett. I would get the other lady, Iola, or whatever her name is, that Indian lady, and I would get that lady from Los Angeles, and I would get that guy from Houston with the cane.
Al Green.
I'll for them. Yeah, I'll file for, and I bet you all of them fall in line. You file 4 of them and make it happen.
What do you mean file it? Like try and kick them out of office?
File. Yeah, kick them out of office.
I don't think we have any control over the National Congress, even though that's what the maps. Are you saying redraw the maps so they would be excluded? Because we can't kick them out of office. We can kick our own legislators out of office in Austin, but they're not in Austin. They're in D.C.
Well, they in Austin too. They from like Crockett. She's out of
Dallas. I'm sitting in her district right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can get her out. If you get them 4 big mouths out, you got everybody else. They'll fall in line.
Yeah, well, I can't argue with that. And the one big way he's right, and thank you very much, Jack in Dallas, if you take away their seats or just threaten to take away their seats, that's what they're here for. They don't care about the money. They'll get more money. They have donors that can back that up. They don't care about censured or you calling them ugly names, or they don't even really care that much about their committee seats or their chairmanships or whatever. It's all about the power. Politicians are all about the power. Businessmen are all about money. Politicians are all about power. And if you're not taking that away, you're not really punishing them. All right, next on the James Show, let's talk about this WNBA situation. Have you been keeping up with this? I don't know if that's the right music. But in this one, this is a weird trend that I hope doesn't catch on, and I think will go away soon. But in 3 games in the last week, someone has taken it upon themselves to throw an adult toy on the court during a game. Bruce calls them marital aids. I like that because that's funny. Or relationship aids, I guess, because you don't have to be married for it to help. But we all know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not going to get more specific than that because we could have kids in the backseat of someone's car listening right now. But, okay, before I get into my explanation on how this could ultimately be a good thing for the WNBA in the long run, Let me lay the first foundation so I don't get any complaints. This is wrong. This should stop. I don't encourage this. I don't like this. I don't want this to happen. Everyone agrees. Most sane people agree it should not continue because there's minor children that watch the WNBA, and exposing these minor children to obscene materials like these adult toys is generally agreed to be a bad thing, especially here on the James Show. Okay? Now, is this brief episode of unacceptable behavior bad for the league? No, not if it's brief. If this is just going to be something that happens a few times and goes away, it's fine. On a long-term scale, of course, this would be bad for the league. People wouldn't want their kids to watch. People wouldn't invite their kids, take their kids to the game anymore. They wouldn't show their little girls, hey, look, you can be just like them. What, the ones that are dodging the flying toys? Yeah, that would be a bad look. But I don't think that's what's going to happen here. The WNBA is going to lock it down. They're going to find the people who are doing this and punish them. And this will all go away in probably a week or so. And so when I don't mean that, when I say this could be good for the league, I do not mean that in a shallow or objectifying way. I mean, as a dollars and cents, branding, marketing, promotional story, this could be more upside than downside. Because now you have the WNBA in a position to actually stand up for family values and things that are seen to be generally, values that are held in higher esteem by Team Red. They do a lot to appeal to the political values and sensibilities of Team Blue. Oh, they've got that covered. They're all over Pride Month. They're all over women's empowerment. They're all over the patriarchy. They do these press conferences where these women are just spouting the same talking points as a Jasmine Crockett or The View or whatever. Oh, they've got that covered, but this is a great opportunity. And if they react correctly, which I think they will do, to appeal to the family values crowd, the Team Red sensibilities, and saying, hey, listen, there's a place for that in the world, but it's not going to be in a public arena like the WNBA where minor children are watching. So can we all knock it off? Now, this is a chance for them to reach out and make themselves look a little more presentable and acceptable to people who are skeptical of all this other political stuff that they don't agree with. So I think it'll stop. I don't think this will continue. I will admit, in some very immature way, it's kind of funny. We can just go ahead and get a couple giggles out of that. But overall, I think this is something that should go away pretty quick and shouldn't have any lasting negative effects. Now, allow me the caveat, and this is an important one. If this continues and the WNBA doesn't put a stop to it and they don't respond properly, oh yes, this could be absolutely catastrophic for the WNBA. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up on the James Show, I'm going to get you caught up on all the new laws for schools that are taking effect in Texas as our kids and grandkids are going back to school this month. You'll find out what you need to know on the James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, happy Friday, fellow Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Redistricting is the talk of the entire nation. The quorum did not happen right before the James Show. I listened to that annoying bell, and the quorum fell short. And so now we had some new punishments that were announced for the Democrat legislators, but I don't know, stop with the bell. But it's all financial stuff. Oh, we're taking away 30% of your operating budget, or we're going to withhold your check, and you got to come get it in person, or we're going to fine you $500 a day. Listen, if the only punishment is going to be some financial cost, then it's really only illegal for poor people. That's not a real punishment. They don't care about money. They care about power. And if you're not taking their power away, this is not a real punishment, which means they have no incentive to come back now, which means they have no incentive to not ever do this again. So I don't think people are taking it real serious by people in positions of power in the Texas House of Representatives. Dustin Burrows, Ken Paxton seems to be taking it serious. Since the James Show started, about 30 minutes into the James Show, he filed a letter with the Supreme Court of Texas asking them to vacate their seats. Maybe on Monday, I'll have a little bit more news on if that is going to bear any fruit. But until now, this looks so lame. 800-288-9227. This is Amy in Arlington. You're on WBAP.
Hi, James. I would like to propose for this issue we're having. It won't solve today, but maybe in November we need a constitutional amendment that is written kind of like our HR people do it, where they set up, if you miss so many days or you call in so many days, you're immediately removed from your seat and the governor appoints a replacement. And that takes the courts out of it. Like, of course, you're going to have some exception to the rule, but that will prevent this from happening. And we know that our legislators aren't going to vote for that for themselves. So
yes,
if we have it as a constitutional amendment, we can just make this happen.
Should have done that whenever they did this. What was that, 4 years ago? Or I forgot when it was. It was just a few. It's right before I started here. We should have done that when they did it back in 2003. I remember when this happened when I first started working in talk radio, and they ran to Ardmore, and that was the whole thing. And I remember people saying the exact same thing. Hey, we should pass a law or a constitutional amendment that says if you do this, then you lose your job. And everybody knows it's a pretty good fix. But the fact that it doesn't happen means they don't really want to fix this. They don't really want to fight hard. They're not really in opposition. This is the whole sort of deep state uniparty conspiracy theory that keeps burying itself to be true when practiced in the real world.
So how do we, as constituents, add things to that constitutional amendment?
So we have
to go through our legislators.
The common one person can't do squat about this. But if we all as a collective decide that we're going to remember who these guys are, and when the primary process rolls around for the Republicans, we're going to make sure one of their challengers win. This requires a level of depth and attention that most people don't have. And it's one of the downfalls of democracy. You have the people out there who are going to pick whoever holds these reins of power, but we don't keep up with them. We don't keep up with them like we keep up with the Dallas Cowboys or with the Kardashians or whatever the popular thing is. That's how these incumbents get to skirt under the radar. And for those of us who are supposed to be holding the Republicans accountable, we don't. And so we get the same terrible incumbents that just get in over and over and over. Dade Phelan, there's no way he should have still be allowed in the Republican Party. He's still a Republican representative in the House. This Dustin Burrows guy, same thing. And if we don't take care of business in the primaries, this is what we deserve. And the reason we're getting this now is because our inaction and our inability to get involved previously when this happened before, because we didn't do something different, we're getting the same result. So in a large part, we only have ourselves to blame.
Agreed.
Okay, and the fix is that it's going to happen in the primary. And if it doesn't get fixed in the primary, we're going to be griping just like this in 2 more years when we're disappointed with the result.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not trying to shame anybody. It's just I felt like I've done this before many times. And so when people, my instinct is when someone says, well, what should we do? Is to say, well, what I told you to do 2 years ago and 4 years ago and 6 years ago and 8 years ago and for the last 23 years. But y'all weren't here for all of that, so I can't hold you accountable. Jeff in Dallas, you're on WBAP. What's your fix? Jeff, go.
How you doing? I'm glad to hear you. You've made a lot of suggestions on, but whatever it takes, they have to have a quorum. And my wife and I came up with the best answer so far to get them back for any vote.
Okay.
You start the process, and to get a bill to make all the illegals legal. And you put this out, and they'll be back there in 5 minutes.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. You give them something they want so they'll come back in the state, and then you do the old bait and switch on them.
Right, and then you can do all this other stuff, see?
I love that. Yes, we're gonna pass a new bill, and we're just gonna make everyone has to watch the next season of RuPaul's Drag Race, and they'll come all in, and then we'll say, "Nope, gotcha. We're voting on the redistricting map." That's not bad, Jeff.
Come up with all this, they come up with all this stuff. Well, we're here for the people. Oh, wait a minute. What about them flood victims over there in Texas there? And they abandoned them. They can't do anything for them,
Well, Jeff, I wish you and your wife were in charge instead of Dustin Burrows, sir. Life would be a lot better here in the great state of Texas. Thank you very much for your suggestion. I think we all agree that's pretty solid work there, Jeff in Dallas. Coming up next on The James Show, Trump and Putin could be meeting next week. Pieces on the table. Will it happen? Dr. Brodeur from Rigaku gives his chances coming up next on The James Show. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, happy Friday. Welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. You want to stick around because in the next segment, I got to give away a pair of tickets to see Jason Aldean. In fact, if you want to win those, we're playing Name That Artist. You can go ahead and call in right now while I'm talking to my next guest, Dr. Jeffrey Broder from Rigaku. Go ahead and call in, and we'll get you set up. You can get in line. You can just wait for 10 minutes before we play the game. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Now, we've been talking a lot about ourselves on today's show. We've been talking a lot about our nation on today's show. I feel like we've neglected foreign policy, so Dr. Jeff Broder from Rigaku is coming on. He has expertise in chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear consulting. Thank you very much for being back on the James Show. I'm bringing you back on here because I hear that Trump and Putin could be meeting next week. What do we need to know about that? So why does the location matter so much? They spent a lot of time talking about that on both MSNBC and Fox News before the James Show. Fair enough. Yeah, Dubai got to mention, the United Arab Emirates got to mention, Saudi Arabia got to mention. I just didn't see the importance in there, and you kind of confirmed my suspicion that it's not really that important. How important is it that Zelensky be there? Right? Well, sure, but doesn't that mean that some, at least formality, will be signed, whether or not it's actually adhered to? Generally speaking, some sort of peaceful arrangement could result next week. Right? Set you back. Sure. Okay, Dr. Jeffrey Broder from Rigaku, I appreciate your expertise on this situation. I hope we get a better result, and we'll probably have to talk to you next week as well. Thank you, sir. All right, coming up next on the James Show, we're playing Name That Artist for tickets to see Jason Aldean. So for all you people on hold, I see you, Gary, Brian, Mark, Becky, Mark, another Mark, two Marks. Go ahead and get out a pen and paper or pull up a notepad file on your phone. Go to phone. You can do this. Put me on speaker so you can still hear me. and then go pull up a notepad file on your phone. I'm going to play the montage, and I want you to try and type in all 10 of the artists. Now, when we get back from the commercial break, I'm going to play it again so you can finish your list. So when we go to you, you can just rattle them off in quick order, and it'll sound like we're pros and we actually know what we're doing. All right? So guys on hold and people who are playing along in their car or at work or wherever you're at, can you name the artists to these 10 songs? All right, so that's going to be your montage. How many can you get? If you can get all 10, it's yours. If not, then it'll go to the person who can get the most, and I'll just tell you the ones you missed. Coming up next on The James Show, it's Name That Artist for Jason Aldean tickets on the News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Welcome to the James Show. Happy Friday. I'm your host, James Parker. We were trying to play Name That Artist. We had the phone lines absolutely full because we got a great price today. 2 tickets to see Jason Aldean. The Full Throttle Tour 2025 is coming to Dos Equis Pavilion August 14th. That's next week. Special guests Nate Smith, Ray Lynn, DJ Silver. For tickets and information, go to livenation.com. And then we played the montage. And as we went to commercial, everyone on hold just slowly dropped off one by one. Makes me sad too, but here's what you don't understand. If you want to win the Jason Aldean tickets, you don't have to know all 10 of the songs. You just have to know more than the other people who are waiting on hold next to you. You don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun the other campers. You understand that metaphor, Garrett, or do I don't care. All right, so listen, if you want to win these Jason Aldean tickets, call in right now. I got to give them away to somebody, and if there's only one person on hold and I go to you and you're like, I can't name any of them, I'm still giving it to you. Do you understand? Someone's getting the tickets. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Or you know what? Don't call. I'll play the montage again. If we don't get a call, then I'll just keep the tickets for my damn self. I'll go give them to a homeless person hanging out over here in the bicycle lane between the American Airlines Center and that delicious 7-Eleven with the awesome pizza. I'm not giving them someone on the DART trains. Those people don't deserve it. They're perpetuating a fraud and a travesty to the taxpayers of North Texas. But here's the montage. If you want to try and win Jason Aldean tickets, if you can name any of these songs, call 800-288-9227. Here's the montage. On the way back around. All right. Oh, yeah. Now we got a bazillion people calling in, waiting on hold. The doubters that hung up before the break. I hope you regret that decision. Because if just one of the 5 people that were on hold before the break would have hung on, I would have gone to you first. And you could have kicked off this whole thing. All right. So for all you people who are on hold now, let me give you another sporting chance now that you get to listen. Do you have a piece of paper at your disposal and a writing utensil? If not, put me on speakerphone and then pull up on another window on your phone a notepad file. I'm gonna play this one more time for all you people. Oh, look at them already dropping off. Oh, look, someone call back in. What a failed game. All right, don't talk to them for a minute. Let's just play the montage and let them write it down, okay, Garrett? Play it one more time. All right, so that's what we got. Let's try and wrap up this terrible edition of Name That Artist. Kat and Argyle.
Yes, sir.
You ready? Hey, Garrett, how long have you done this and you don't know how to spell these towns? You like Argyle. Do you think anyone This is extra letters. This is longer than the anyway.
Argyle.
Oh, I know. I've looked at a map before. All right, let's go ahead. Let's see if we can get you some Jason Aldean tickets. You ready for Name That Artist?
Yeah, I only have one of them, so if I've got it, great.
All right, let me hear.
Bleeding Love is Leona Lewis.
Okay, so we'll start there. Hang on. So Cat's in first place. Who's this? David? David, you have more than one.
I believe so.
Okay, what do you got?
I got Chad Kroger.
Chad Kroger? Who even says that? You mean Nickelback?
Nickelback, yeah.
Oh my God, you said the lead singer's name instead of the whole band?
Yep.
Are you their fan?
No, I just couldn't think of the band name because I never listened to it.
You know their lead singer's name. Yeah, you're
Well,
real unfamiliar. I wouldn't recognize Nickelback, just the lead singer's name. All right, you got so you got Nickelback. Who else do you have here? Let me. That's official. There's the bell. Who else was that?
Backstreet Boys.
Was there a Backstreet Boys? Oh yeah, there was a Backstreet Boys. Yeah. What else you got?
And the Cranberries.
I did not hear Cranberries in there. So
Okay.
that's what you got. You got two.
And then 3 Days Grace.
No. It's a three. Well, you're still in first. All right, David, in the most flaccid edition of Name That Artist ever. Let's go to Kim in Bedford. Kim, how many you got?
I think I have 3.
What do you got?
How about Mario Odyssey? Is that Dark Side of the Moon?
What do you? What's Mario Odyssey? That's a thing? The video game?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I guess so. I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's fine. I love that video game, but it's not. Are people winding me up? Is that what's going on? All right, what else do you got?
I have Nickelback, and I believe it was Rockstar.
Yes.
Nickelback, Rockstar. Okay, and Leona Lewis with the
Yep.
Bleeding Heart, I believe it is.
Bleeding Love.
Oh, Bleeding Love. And then I know that I thought NSYNC was in there.
Justin Timberlake was in there as a solo act. So you've got 3 too? Is that what you have? Or
I have 3.
all right, I'm looking for 4 then. Kim, thank you very much. Who do we got left? Michelle and Becky? Let's do Becky first. Becky, how many you got?
Well, I think I have more than 4. I got Donna Lewis.
Oh, wow. Look at you. Getting the first one. Okay.
Dan, it's Bedingfield.
Whoa. You recognize his song, but you don't know how to say his name? Did you hit Shazam or look it up or something?
I just don't know how to say his name.
Well, I'll give you that one then. Damn, that's pretty good. So, yeah, Donna Lewis, Daniel Bedingfield. Next one.
Leona Lewis.
Yeah, the other Lewis. Next.
Backstreet Boys.
Oh, I'm liking this. Keep going, Becky.
DHT.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't get that one in the pre-show meeting. Keep going. I'm excited now.
Timberland.
Or Timberlake. Oh, yeah. You know what? The next one was Timberland with One Republic. I'll give you that one, too.
Nickelback.
Nickelback's after Justin Timberlake. What else you got?
Okay. 3 Doors Down.
Yeah.
Lincoln Park.
Oh, I got to give it to you. This was a struggle bus. Becky, let's just go ahead and put you on hold, give you the tickets, and get the hell out of here. This has been today's terrible edition of Name That Artist. What are y'all doing over there? Is anyone even paying attention? Coming up next, I'm going to run down some of the new rules that you need to know when your kids/grandkids are starting school in Texas this month. That's coming up on The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. We're going to talk about this more in a longer span on Monday's show, but the new school year is about to go down. My kids are already going to like band camp and preseason practice and things like that. And your kids too. Well, there's a whole lot of laws that go into effect on September 1st that most schools are going to start when the school year begins anyway, so they don't have to change them. And I just want to get some of these on your mind. Number one, the cell phone ban. It requires all school districts and open enrollment charter schools to adopt policies prohibiting students from using personal communication devices. So it's cell phones, iPads, laptops, things like that, while on school property during the school day. Now, it's going to be different for different districts. The reason why I'm telling you this without any sort of conclusion is I want to see what the different school districts are doing. So can you find out what your kids are about to have to go through? And then we'll talk about that on the show next week, probably Monday or Tuesday. But I'm going to find out what my kid's school is doing, and I want to find out what your kid's school is doing. I want to see what some of these options are. Also, public elementary and secondary schools are going to be required to display the 10 Commandments in every classroom. I don't think that's necessarily important for education, but it is kind of fun to rub it in the nose of the people who are offended by such things. It's totally harmless. It costs almost nothing. And if you're offended by it, well, it just kind of seems to offend all the right people, doesn't it? Senate Bill 11 allows time for prayer and reading religious text. Senate Bill 12, DEI ban in schools. Keep an eye on that. Is your school running afoul of that new law? Senate Bill 13 allows parents to restrict library materials from their students. So this means parents and school boards are the ones who are going to control this, not the school librarians. Because for some schools, the school librarian has the final say over what materials are allowed in the school's library, no matter what the parents say, no matter what the school board says. So that was crazy. Only the approval of 50 parents or 10% of parents in the district, whichever is less, would be needed to create oversight councils. They are also banning certain food additives in school lunches, requiring students to take financial literacy courses, and an increase in public education funding. Just keep an eye on this as your kid's going back to school. Find out some of the answers to these questions in your kid's situation. And we'll be talking about that in a little bit more depth next week. I'm going to do some looking on my side as well. I wanted to leave you with some life advice from a guy who looks absolutely homeless, but it's still solid advice.
Y'all ever see those videos in New York City in like 1912 and everyone's bustling, hurrying around on the street? And I think, damn, they were stressed back then too, man. And now look, they're all gone. And I know that's depressing to think about, but it reminds me of a quote from, I think Anne Lorette said it. I heard Pete Holmes say it. Every 100 years, there's all new people, baby. Every 100 years, all new people. The people we're on earth with right now, this is our crew, okay? In the same way you can't pick your family, but you got to get along with them. We can't pick the people we're on earth with, but we got to get along, man. In the whole grand scheme of the universe, all the time, all the space, the people on earth right now, this is a tiny little group, man, and we get to be a part of it, man. I'm in the grocery store, I see a fella, I think, damn, I'm on earth at the same time as that guy, man. I see a cool lady, I think, man, we're alive at the same time. Man, that is freaking sick, man. Be kind to your neighbor, man. This is what it's all about. I'm glad I'm on earth at the same time as y'all. Thank y'all. Keep on rocking.
Yeah, I love that. You know what? I'm glad I'm on earth at the same time as you. I'm glad I get to do this radio show and you get to listen to it. Yeah, everything's not perfect. We've all got money problems. We all got family problems. We all got health problems. But it's been a pretty good ride on earth. I'm glad to share it with you. If you need more James Show action over the weekend, find the podcast. Go to WBAP.com, the WBAP app, or I know what you really do. Half of you are still going to places that we don't own and find the podcast. Whatever. Go find it there. But also go find some of the fun stuff we have on social media. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. Don't just find it. Share it. Follow it, subscribe, do all the good things, and help me spread the word about this good little show so I can keep doing it. I'm having a good time. I would like to continue doing this in the future, and I've got kids. Stick around. Mark Levin is coming up next. In the meantime, you go have a good weekend. We'll do this again Monday at 2. I'm James Parker. This has been The James Show on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP.
Anglo